YouTube, what's good? It's your boy K-Law, back with another video. Y'all gonna hit the like and subscribe button for your boy. Comment on this video. Share this video, man. So look, check it out. I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story about these two OGs I was locked up in the same dorm with. Like I told y'all in some of my other videos, not all prisons in Florida is two-man cells. Some of them two-man cells, some of them be open bay dorms, basically like a big open dorm with a whole bunch of beds and bunks in it. You know what I mean? Like bunk beds. So I never forget this one time we just coming from the rec yard. So like the first yard, in Florida prisons is mandatory. You got to go to the yard unless you're a houseman. A houseman is basically they the ones who clean the dorm. So like when everybody go out for work and to the yard, the housemen, they stay behind, they sweep, mop, they'll clean the bathroom, clean the day room, clean the windows. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't necessarily like make your bunk, because you got to make your bunk before you leave anyway. You know what I'm saying? You got to make your bunk like by like 7:30, something like that. So I never forget this particular time. We just coming from first yard. So when you come from first yard, they lock everybody down. You go to your dorm, they'll do count, and then once they clear count, they won't let us back out. But because we about to go to chow, they about to start feeding everybody for lunch. You know what I mean? You just gotta wait on your turn, wait on your dorm to go to lunch. So you kind of just listening to your radio, read, and some people like to drink coffee. Some people like to talk to other inmates, whatever the case is, play checkers, card, whatever the case is you like to do before they release us for chow. You just kind of in the dorm, stuck in the dorm. So I never forget these two OGs. They had been, I ain't gonna really say they was friends, but they was kind of cool. So one of the OGs, he used to get money sometimes, but his people wouldn't always send him money. So sometimes he'll ask people for coffee, soup or whatever till he get his money. So I remember this, like I say, this one particular morning going into the afternoon, he asked his little buddy, was sitting on his bunk, drinking a cup of coffee. Little, you know what I'm saying? He got little coffee cups they sell in the canteen. So he ended up asking his buddy for coffee. So his buddy was like, he basically explained to him, he like, man, I got coffee. I just got coffee, but my wife is going through it out there. You know what I mean? Like basically going through hard times. So he got to make the coffee last. So OG, you know what I mean? He asked him, like I said, and buddy explained to him he really wasn't in a position to, you know what I mean, give him a scoop of coffee. You know what I mean? So the other OG can make him some coffee. So the OG who asked him for some coffee, he left. He walked around the dorm. He asked a few other people who he kind of associate with. And a few other people told him they ain't really have nothing until they go to canteen. So OG went back to the other OG, asked him, you know what I mean, one more time. He like, man, let me get some coffee. I just seen you pour some coffee. You know what I mean? Let me get a little scoop. It ain't gonna hurt you. So the other OG pretty much explained to him again, like, hey man, my wife going through it. You know what I mean? She going through hard times. Pay the bills. I ain't out there. I gotta make this coffee last. Next thing you know, the OG who asked him for some coffee, he just end up swinging on the other OG. I'm talking about just, yeah, like he ain't asked him to go to the back. He ain't asked him to, you know what I mean, put his shoes on and nothing. He just swung on him, all because the other OG who asked for some coffee, he wouldn't give him no coffee. And mind you now, like when you're in prison, a lot of times people will tell you to go to the back if y'all got a disagreement so y'all can fight. That way the officers don't see you. That way it don't cause no big commotion. Everybody starts surrounding y'all, and you know what I'm saying, y'all basically end up going to the box, going to the hole. That's kind of like a check-in move when you just, you know what I'm saying, automatically fight out in the open where the officers can see and where everybody else can see. You know what I mean? Like that's a check-in move. Basically checking in is like, it's different ways to check in. You could say, hey, I'm in fear for my life, or you could check in by like getting loud in front of the officers so the officers can see what's going on, and then y'all get into a fight. They gonna end up taking both of y'all to jail. You know what I mean? It's different ways to check in. So like fighting out in the open is basically like a check-in move. But like I say, OG at that time, OG ain't really care. He just, you know what I'm saying, he wanted some coffee. So other OG told him, man, I ain't got no coffee to give right now. I gotta make this last. So OG ended up swinging on him. And when he swung on him, the other OG, he ain't fight back or nothing. He really kind of blocking at first, but then he ended up standing up, and he was trying to talk, and as he was talking, the other OG still swinging. Now, mind you, these dudes in their mid-50s, late 50s, maybe early 60s. I don't really know. Like I said, I ain't really talked to them like that. Maybe a few words here and there, but I ain't really like talk to them on no daily basis to know exactly how old they was. And I just know this. I know they had them been to prison a few times. The OG who had the coffee, I know he had been to prison like 3 or 4 times. And like I told y'all in one of the other videos, you could tell how many times a person been to prison, because before your docket number, aka your DC number, it always has a letter. It start off with 0 for your first time. So mine was, my first time and my last time, it was 0-X9734. And so after 0, it go to letters. It go to 0, then it go to A, B, C. The other OG who swung on him, he had them been quite a few times. He had a J letter. So you can just imagine how many times he done been to prison. Every time you go to prison or catch a new charge while you in prison, they'll add a letter to your docket number before your regular docket number. So like I say, OG had like a J letter. So his was J dash and then whatever his docket number was. So yeah, he ended up swinging on OG. They ended up kind of getting up. They kind of tussling. Like they ain't really like fighting. The one who got swung on, he wasn't really fighting, but he was kind of like pushing other OG, kind of trying to protect himself. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm literally probably like 10, 15 feet away from him. But like I say, if you're in prison and when you're doing time, you don't really want to make no commotion, because in a sense, you know what I'm saying, the officers gonna see everybody making a commotion, and they gonna kind of see what's going on. They gonna come check the situation out. 9 times out of 10, them people gonna go to the box, lose their game time, lose their visitation time, not be able to get commissary for a minute. So I'm just sitting on my bunk. I'm actually like I'm sitting like this, but it's like out the corner of my eye, I see what's going on. I'm looking at what's going on, but like I say, I ain't making no commotion. I'm just kind of like smiling to myself, like, boy, OG wild as hell. Boy, he swung on Buddy because he wouldn't give him no scoop of coffee. And that just goes to show you, man, you don't know what people be going through in these situations when they locked up. They're away from family. Their family ain't sending them no money. So that's why, you know what I mean, I tell y'all, man, don't go to prison. Man, I ain't gonna say don't. I'm gonna just say be careful who you befriend. Because I ain't gonna lie, I met some good people in prison that I still keep in contact with, you know what I'm saying, on the outside since I've been home. And I've been home since 2012. You know what I mean? I did from 2008 to 2012. You know what I'm saying? I met some good people. There's a lot of good people in prison. There's a lot of innocent people in prison. But it's also a lot of messed up people in prison. And there's a lot of people who deserve to be in prison. But yeah, like I say, OG ended up swinging on them. They tussling or whatever. And it was funny to me. Not that OG swung on him, but the reason was funny. Like, man, you swung on this man because he wouldn't give you no coffee. He just, you know what I mean? He trying to make sure his coffee lasts him for the next time his wife be able to send him some money. And like when you get coffee off the commissary in prison, back when I was in, it was like a bag of coffee. It was probably like this big, maybe about that wide. You could take a scoop or two, however much you want, and make your coffee as strong or as weak as you want. And we had a hot water thing in there by the water fountain in the dorm. You had a water fountain, and you had like a hot water faucet. You know what I mean? You just it was instant coffee. So you make your you put the water in, stir your coffee up, and then your coffee good. If you got creamer and sugar you want to add to it, or hot cocoa, what a lot of people used to do because it was cheaper, you could add that to it. But you know what I mean? It was instant coffee. So OG was just asking for a scoop, and that just goes to show you, you know what I mean? Like if he really wanted to, he could have stabbed him. You know what I mean? He could have hit him in the head with a lock. You know what I mean? He really could have did anything he wanted to him at that time, all because he didn't give him a scoop of coffee. Excuse me. And I remember previous times, like OG would give him some coffee. Whenever he asked, I used to see him. If OG, the one who swung on him, if he didn't have no coffee or whatever he wanted, he'll go ask him. You know what I mean? They was cool. They was, like I say, they was pretty cool. They wasn't enemies and nothing like that. They used to talk. I done seen both of them sit down on each other's bunk and have talks. But I guess this one particular time, OG was just going through it mentally. You know what I mean? And he just wanted some coffee. So he found it in his best interest to go ahead and swing on the other OG. And the other OG, he, like I say, he didn't necessarily fight back, but he kind of protected himself. He was like pushing them off of him and like kind of pushing them in the face. They ended up hitting one of the walls in the two-wheels. There was a loud thump, which I'm surprised the officers ain't coming, you know what I mean, try to break it up, man. But that just goes to show you, man, that's why they tell you in prison orientation, like, don't take no commissary from people. Don't bet with people. Don't gamble, you know what I mean? None of that, because it could turn at any moment. But yeah, my fault, y'all. My phone had done cut off because it hadn't got too hot. The sun shining on my phone through the car hadn't got too hot. But yeah, like I was saying, they tell you in prison orientation, you know what I mean? Don't take nothing from nobody. You know what I mean? Like, they show you a video, like, somebody put 100 bond on your bunk. Don't accept it, you know what I mean? That could lead to rape. That could lead to problems, you know what I mean? In a sense, it's true, you know what I mean? Like, that was back in the day, to the point where, you know what I mean, people will try to leave some commissary to get different favors out of you, or be, you know what I'm saying, a step ahead of you, just kind of have like the ups on you, you know what I mean? So they kind of tell you, like, don't accept nothing from nobody. But like, I feel like that's in any case, you know what I mean? You don't really want to accept nothing from nobody, especially if you don't know if you're able to pay them back, because it could turn the other way, you know what I mean? And when I say the other way, I mean not in a good way, you know. But yeah, like I say, OG ended up swinging on him for not giving him, excuse me, not giving him a scoop of coffee. You know what I mean? So like I say, he could have stabbed him, could have hit him with a log, could have hit him with any type of weapon that you can make in prison. You know what I mean? It could turn bad for you, man. But yeah, y'all go on and like, subscribe to this video. You know what I mean? Comment on this video. Y'all fool with your boy, man. K-Law.